dances, walkouts, and even classes. But today in this spot, I am challenged to deliver a commencement speech. Over the last few weeks, I have reflected and pondered over what exactly I would say. I spent numerous nights scrambling to find the words to say, blocked by the thoughts that I would say something wrong. Not until the night that Miss McCollum and I worked well past midnight in her office did I realize what I wanted to tell my fellow graduates. In that moment, I decided that the speech was never going to happen and I would be better off as a hobo. To her dismay, I would not be a hobo because Mama wouldn't be happy. And as the saying goes, if Mama ain't happy, then nobody's happy. So let me start by saying, thank you, Mom, for being the driving force behind me, pushing me to success. Thank you to my brother Nigel for always being everything than me, but also motivating and helping me to be my best. Thank you, board members, for providing a safe and stable sanctuary for learning. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson, for guiding our school to a vision of excellency and improving our senior pranks. Thank you, Mr. Sampson, for playing into our senior prank week and smiling at me when you don't for most people. I'd like for everyone to see that I also provided evidence of not just once, but twice that he was smiling in a picture with me. And just for safekeeping, I made sure to have a digital copy. Thank you, Mrs. McCollum, for all of the behind-the-scenes work you do for us and allowing us to turn your office into a jungle gym, art studio, and a second home. I know she's probably scheming to find a way to get even with me right now. Finally, thank you to the class of 2018. Some of our journeys together began back in elementary school, while others waited for middle school or high school. Regardless the duration of our friendships together, thank you for all of the memories made along the way. These past years have been some of the most enriching years of our lives, but sometimes we have to remember where our roots began. Our high school story began like a good old Missouri storm, chaotic and unpredictable. We were one of the biggest classes with 286 freshmen, and we were definitely the most daunting class coming into the halls of HHS. We quickly learned that carrying our 20-pound book bags was much better than using our lockers. The high school and hallways were no place to talk between classes, and lunch trays were a ticket to humiliation if they were dropped. Our later years of high school were filled with projects, papers, tests, sporting events, activities, and especially late nights. Never will we forget all of the times that we were told to go in early to print off papers, only to find a line of teachers printing off theirs as well. We will never forget the endless waiting to be released from the sauna, and never will we cause an explosion in the chemistry lab because we learned to read directions, thanks to Ms. Rosencrantz. In these years, we rose from freshmen and transformed into seniors. We have broke records, firmly stood out for what we believed in, built an everlasting monument, and set goals that will only be surpassed with future greatness. As I look amongst the crowd of my classmates, I see leaders and motivators ready to take their place in the world. Behind a chicken scratch signature, I see a doctor. Behind a sleepyhead in class, I see a creative mastermind. Behind the iPad and pencil, I see a NASA engineer. Behind the most argumentative person, I see a lawyer. Behind the instruments, I see a musical genius. Behind the guitar and the vest, I see a rock star. And behind the numerous fouls and broken records, I see an exceptional collegiate athlete and a lifelong friend. The students of this class are unique, talented, and shaped in their own ways by persistence. Throughout high school, we have found ourselves in the path that we want to take in life. We all have big dreams, goals, and aspirations, but I challenge the class of 2018 to continue to persist in that dream and never let it go. Deciding our focus in life can be easy and and quite fun to imagine, but we cannot be swayed and dreaded the mile-high amount of time and effort it takes to get there. We do not forget the challenges of life are always present, wherever we go and whatever we do. Life will tell you no and force you to fail more times than not. But during those times of hopelessness, don't let life's challenges defeat you. As I quote Winston Churchill, "Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm." Every fail and every challenge is an opportunity to intensify your abilities. Even if you find yourself at rock bottom, or even feeling like a hobo sometimes, rock bottom can be a solid foundation in which can be built upon. Giving up cannot be a choice when we are faced with these inevitable plateaus much steeper than we originally anticipated. Throughout life, we must be persistent to show bravery in the face of adversity. It is important to want things for yourself in life, to have goals and aspirations, but it is even more important to take the actions to achieve them. Most of our journeys will be unyielding and resistant. Overcome resistance with relentless persistence. Make the struggling worth it by persisting to the end. When fire is applied to a stone, cracks. When persistence is applied to an obstacle, it gives in. From the persistence I have seen through the past years, I have been honored to be a part of our momentous accolades. I am beyond excitement of words to see what the future holds for the class of 2018. I hope that many of our paths will occasionally intersect to bring us back to our days as pirates. I wish you all the best of fortunes and the brightest of futures. Congratulations, graduates, on taking the next step into a new chapter of our lives. In closing, I could think of no better quote than Christopher Reeve's, or better known as Superman. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, and then they seem improbable. And then, when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. Thank you.